This is Sportscentre.
Hey, over it's Roberto on the Digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And it's a closeout game tonight in Toronto as the Leafs and Sens shift back to the Big Smoke for Game 5. And let's address the elephant in the room right off the bat here. The Leafs are 1-12 in closeout games since 2016-2017. And while this game doesn't quite have the ghosts of Leafs past creeping in quite yet, if they lose tonight, it definitely will. Because we all remember that 3-1 lead they blew to the Habs a few years back. But I do feel like this time around it's different. Listen, they just have given the Senators a gentleman's sweep is all. We showed you the graphic last week. Only 4 teams have come back from a 3-0 series lead in NHL history. So yeah, history is on the Leafs side. And they were pretty close to closing things out in 4. And a big reason why they might have lost Game 4 was that short absence of John Tavares, who left the game briefly, including missing some time on the power play, but did return for overtime. And according to head coach Craig Berube, he's fine and will be there tonight. And now let's bring up the Roberto reactor here, because I feel as though Leafs Nation will agree with me. We're going to be optimistic here. The Leafs are back home. They just wanted to win in front of their home crowd, and that's so nice. And speaking of the home crowd, I still don't know if I'm going tonight. We'll see if I can manifest a ticket. Hit me up if you want a friend to go with. Honestly, I'm a really great hockey date. After a thrilling overtime victory in Game 4 for Edmonton, the series shifts back to LA for Game 5 tonight. And things were looking bleak for the Oilers after 2 straight losses, but thanks to consecutive third-period comebacks, the Oilers have evened things up, making tonight's game crucial. Teams that win Game 5 when the series is tied at 2 go on to win the series nearly 80% of the time. Unfortunately for the Oilers, tonight's game is played at Crypto.com Arena, arguably one of the toughest places to play in the NHL this year, where the Kings have won more than 3/4 of their games. So how did things stack up for Edmonton tonight? Well, if you look at their opponent's recent playoff history, Oilers fans might be a little optimistic. Over the last 10 years, LA's made the playoffs 6 times. And considering they haven't won a series in any of those years, the record in games 1 to 3 really aren't that bad. But things fall off a cliff historically for them in games 4 through 7. And this trend also holds true in Game 5 specifically, as the Kings have lost 3 of their last 4 Game 5s, which is a pretty big difference from their first round opponents this year. Now, thanks largely to their success at home this season, LA is the favorite to win tonight. But if history repeats itself, the Oilers have a great chance to pick up the win and go up in the series 3-2. Don't know if my favorite segment and yours will be the sports today.
Why we love sports today.
And we're heading to Philly for the Penn Relays, the oldest and largest track and field competition in the US. And let's focus on that word oldest, because this event has something for everyone, including the elderly, as here is the 80+ 100 meter.
And I was just going to say, they were holding their position better than some of the high schoolers. Wow, down the track, 80 and older. We have a battle in the middle of the track, 3 lanes, doing it out. And here the crowd at the Penn Relays for our 80-year-old sprinters.
Wow! Okay, whoa, that's somebody's grandpa, and I love that for them. And the person trailing in the back, yeah, that guy, first of all, good for you, man, but that's also how fast I run. To the association, and we gotta ask the question, is Clippers Nuggets the best first round series we've ever seen? In recent memory, the answer has to be heck yes. Because so far we've seen a 2-point OT thriller, a 3-point game that had Kawhi turn back the clock, one blowout, whatever, and then one of the most iconic playoff buzzer beaters we've ever seen.
Zubac is on him. And this is for the win.
Oh, it's close. They're going to call it.
Did buzzer? Did Gordon beat the buzzer?
They're going to take a look at it.
The ball was deemed to get out of Gordon's hands right before the LED line. This is a successful basket, and the game is over.
The Nuggets have won!
Okay, Jokic is actually trying to get that one in. Honestly, can we just make sure we get 7 games of this? And maybe a couple more finishes like that? TSN has you covered not just that game tonight, but a quadruple header of NBA action. And the schedule was a little earlier tonight as it's starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, with the Bucks and Pacers, followed by Pistons Knicks, Magic Celtics, and then the main event starting at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, the Clippers and Nuggets Game 5. What an absolutely outrageous time to be watching NBA action. We got it all for you on TSN. It's Tuesdays, you know what that means. It's time for some anytime goal score action on FanDuel. And let's head back to that Sens-Leafs game, shall we? Because as we told you earlier, it's a closeout game for the Leafs. But we're gonna go against the grain here and hammer in Mitch Marner to score at +220. Now the track record for Mitch in closeout games is actually not great. He played 13 in his career and has yet to score with 5 assists. But we said it before the playoffs and we'll say it again. This is a different Mitch Marner since the Four Nations face-off, where the clutch gene was activated. And the Mitch Marner we've seen in these playoffs so far has been unreal, as he's got 1 goal and 6 assists so far in 4 games this series. And I realized last week we gave you Austie, and Austie let us down, but this time's different. We're going with Mitch. That's it for me today. We'll see you back in tomorrow, 3 Eastern, New Pacific. Have a good one.